Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Good morning to you. How are you this morning? Hope you are great. The birds are singing. It is a beautiful day to bring us outside that we might enjoy a bit of this together as we spend a few moments on this Tuesday. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing great. Hello, hello. Good morning, friends. How are you today? Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Glad you're here. Hope it finds you well. All right, friends, let's get going this morning. It is the 29th day of April at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you are a part of this journey and that we might come together for a little while. I am out here at beautiful Fort Taber. If you don't know where Fort Taber is, it is the fort at the mouth of, across the way is Fort Phoenix. It is at the fort at the mouth of New Bedford. And we're over here, I'm over here with our leads program and doing some learning with them. But I wanted to bring you out here to this channel. If you can see behind me, there's the New Bedford light, which is right there behind me, and and as a way of kind of simply showing you that the historic nature of these waters behind me, that quite literally for hundreds of years sailors have departed from this port. Fall River or New Bedford is still actually I want to get this right, the largest seafood port in America by way of the amount of money raised by the catch that is brought in, not by poundage, but by the New Bedford scallop is still king in a lot of ways in terms of the world. And as in the past was the whaling fleet that went out from this place, as in the past as was the ground fishing fleet that continues to come out from this place. But I want to show you that channel, and I want to show you that light behind me, because and just for a moment, imagine the hundreds of years of sailors that have departed from it, the hundreds of years of commerce that has gone beyond, past that light, even before that light existed, the entire journey of humanity that has happened between these two little points behind me that have gone out past this fort even before it changed. And so, you know, we can look out at that water, we can look out at that and recognize two things. First is this nature that as many times as sailors have sailed that for over hundreds and hundreds of years, as the thousands and thousands of ships and sailing ships and whaling ships that have been out through that gut, they have actually never been through it the same time, the same waters. That every river that you have ever been on, you've never stepped in the same river twice. Why? Well, because the water itself is always moving, is always changing. Just as the tide has come in, the tide has come out. That it is an old saw, this notion that there is no, you never step in the same river twice. Well, no sailor has, even though they've been past these marks, even though they've been past these waters, they have never stepped they have never sailed these waters the same way twice, because the waters themselves have always changed. Now, okay, you can kind of look at that and say, okay, well, kind of who cares? Well, and here's why. Here's what I'm hoping to offer you this morning, is this reality that this portrays for us, which is this: that this harbor that's behind us, that sailors have traveled over this time, although it has changed, it is the same. And so too it is with our life. That we get up in the morning, we will put our feet on the floor, we'll put our little feet in our bunny slippers, and we'll toddle off down the hall. We'll head out on the course of our day, and we may have a day that looked a lot like the days of the past, looked a lot like the day before. We get up, we go to work, we have a few meals, we kiss a few people that we love, and we kind of then do it again. That we can get in this illusion. We can get in this illusion that this harbor, these waters that we sail, these lights that we go past are the same and fixed and unchanging. My invitation to you is to remember that the power of every day, the power of every voyage out past the light, the power of what God has brought to your life every hour, every moment, every day, that it is God, that we remember that God's love for us is unchanging, but at the same time, the waters in which we sail is always changing. And so my hope for you is that you will remember and that you'll hold on to this invitation that God has for us every day, to remember that we might sail past really really familiar landmarks. In fact, we may encounter life with really familiar people. People maybe that you've known your whole life, that are sitting on the end of the couch with you, or they're off to work, or they're wherever they have, that you may have known for decades, for years. You may have land and a home that you've known and been a part of your life for years. But I want you to encounter it, just as the resurrection happened. The disciples who had spent 3 years following Jesus encountered him for the first time and often didn't recognize him. What would it be for us to not recognize for a moment the people in our lives? What would it be for us for a moment not to recognize the navigational beacons as they've been planted for us? What would it be for us to sail out of a harbor that has literally had commerce for hundreds and hundreds of years, to sail out of it for the first time and in a new way? How would we be? And we can come into that way because of the fact what we're really encountering, as Jesus encountered in the resurrection, was the divinity of him post-resurrection, the encounter of his divinity. Well, what if we went and tried to encounter the divinity in our lives, to look at our children, our spouse, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, the people that we'll encounter, to recognize among them that there is the face of Jesus. There is the face of the resurrection. And we won't recognize it in its familiarity. Even though we sail these waters 1,000 times, they are never the same. And just below the surface, they are never the same encounters. Even though we may, fool ourselves to thinking these lights are always here and these ways are always the same. Friends, I hope you'll take this opportunity today, in this beautiful day, to look a little more for the face of Christ in our midst, to look a little more for these old paths and these old ways and these old waters that we supposedly know so well, but that we might